Hello and welcome to Greenwood Model Railway Products. Here's an introduction to my point kits that I supply in O gauge in 31.5 and in scale 7. This point, as you can see, is here with all the gauges attached to it to show that you can build a point with my kits very easily. At this point there is no glue on this base whatsoever. It is all tied together with the jig bars. The first stage of building a point would be to attach the frog. This can be done with these little gauges that I supply in the kit. They go over the webbing and over the rail and hold it all in place, as you can see just here. So you can then glue all the chairs on in place, leave it for a few minutes and that will set, and then you'll be able to take them off and proceed with the point. Next step of this procedure will be to attach one rail. The straight rail is recommended, followed by the check rail, as you can see here. Again, using the gauges that I supply. Again, you can just leave it for a few minutes and set it. You can add the slide chairs. Each rail on a B7 has 2 normal chairs to start with, 9 slide chairs, 2 bridge chairs, 11 normal chairs, 3 trimmed chairs spaced out where the tie bar would go. So you'd have one here, here and here, and then 4 normal chairs. Then once that's set, you can attach the check rail, and again you use 2 normal chairs here and trimmed, and then you have a half chair at each end and here and here. Once the first rail has been in position, you can then set the second rail on the curve. I recommend that you don't need to put a bend in it because it automatically wants to straighten up, which holds it against the check rails here. If you bend it, it tends to move away because there's no pressure. The next step of a point to build, after the 2 outer rails are going, will be to put in the blades. Again, it's 1 bridge chair full on each rail and 11 standard chairs, and you also get a fish plate that joins to the frog, which is made of ABS plastic, which isolates the frog from the blades. Once this is done, there is a few other chairs that will go here that are half chairs just to complete the process, and then you would move on to putting on your stretcher bar, which I use is a 0.8 ply with 2 gimp pins through it and soldered to the blades. I use this system because it's very easy to move the point backwards and forwards, and there is no pressure in any point because the gimp pins are soldered to the rails and can move freely in this point. Right, hello, I'm now going to demonstrate to you how I build my kits. They are very simple. Here is the frog that's pre-made up from being constructed in a jig. The chairs have been applied here. They will slide on the end, and you can carefully clip them over the rail and they will stay on much easier than just trimming halves and putting them all the way around. The chairs are supplied by Permaway. I would recommend these. At the moment they only do a 3-bolt, but they have just produced a fish plate to go on the end of the rails for isolation, which is very nice. In their packs they have all the 3-bolt chairs, slide chairs and bridge chairs. So here we go. First of all, place your frog over the base and attach some gauges over the top, and this will hold it in place so you can attach it nicely to the rails. Once it's in place, you can just check that it's okay, all where you want it, and then you can just move the chairs into the correct position that you come on. I don't know if you can see it, there's some green marks on there. That was just, I put them on there to help me put the chairs in the right places. in the first place. It just makes it a little bit easier. So there we have that in place. We can get the mech that I supply, and you can literally just put it on as so. Use plenty of it. Being timber, it will absorb a bit of the chemical, but it will evaporate. If some of your chairs are in the wrong place, like I've just noticed there, you do have plenty of time just to slide them over. And a bit, if you, a bit too much. There you go. Just give them a little bit of a push on the top when they're in place. It just gives them a bit of suction, as you can see. And a bit. There we go. See? All stuck rather nicely. Pretty much there, look. Right, so you can take those two off. Leave the other two on because they're just holding it in place. Get your straight rail, put it in place. Gauge is on. Just, so it's nice and straight on your boards. There we go. So again, just make sure all your chairs are reasonably in the right place. It doesn't matter if they're not 100% because you've got time to move them as you're gluing. You can, I wouldn't try and glue them all at once. Just do sort of a section at a time. Just to keep an eye on it and not get away from you. So here we go. Cut the dabs over the end here, just to hold them in place. And then you start on. As you get practice, you'll get used to doing more and more of these a lot quicker. Just check that they, and give them a little bit of movement, a little bit of light push on the top of the rail, just to give them a bit of suction. I'm trying to do one there that I haven't put any glue on yet. So, again, a little bit there, a little bit there. And there you go, just check them out again, give them a bit of a push. There we go, there's that one on. Move that now, just set across to there. And again, you can get your check rail with these, and that just holds over the top while you put it in place. Again, there we go. And that will hold that there. And a bit of a push. There's your first rating in. Remove these gauges. Get your other rail. Like that. There. That over there. Put your gauges back on. As you can see, as you put the gauges on, the rail takes the shape of the base. As you see. In there in place. At this point you can, if you like, just before you glue this one in, slip in the stretcher bar so it's in there ready for when you do your blades. Again, with my blades that I do, you'll find that you don't have to put a slot in the rail to accommodate the end of the blade. They are nice and fine. On other rail systems you might, with when they've got bigger bottom rails, you're using a larger scale rail, for instance a 143 flat bottom rail, you may need to just put another gauge in there just to make sure that's in the right place. Just go through double checking that they're in the right places. Move them if you need to. Give them a little push. And there you have your outer rails already on. At this point, I would then turn the base around and apply the slide chairs. You will need 9 of these on each side. Just again. And that side, just push them approximately where you want them. Again, take a gauge, put it over the top just to steady it where you can. Get some more. Try to use this in a well ventilated area. It is a bit potent. And just hold the rail, push them to where you want them, push them down a bit. As you can see, you do get a bit of time to get them in position. fill one. I've got quite enough to it. Put a bit more on. Bit of pressure on the top of the rail just to give it that suction. There you go. And take your other ones and put them in, or lose them, as the case may be. Not sure what I've done with them. We can proceed to do them later. It's not a problem. I might just take that out of there. Put them in there. I'm sure I have something for the blade to go on in a moment. Right, so now I've had time for them to go off and take them out of the way. You can then take your first blade, this one, trim the metalwork if necessary, just to allow it to close up. Again, push your chairs into approximately where you want them. And now you add your gauges back in as well, just to hold it in position. Tends to make it pressurised down to the rail a bit more. Lift that over the blade as such. And glue it on, which is marvellous. First blade in. So we take the second blade. That's pretty much, you can see how it goes off quite quickly. Just move the fish plate. Come back again. Put that one back on there. I mean obviously you can leave this a lot longer than I have been doing to let your glue go off if you want to. I'm just showing you how we can do this in a very quick time. Each pack that I send out has half a dozen of these gauges in, but if you wanted to do it like I did it in a process, you can order more. And just a light bit of pressure just to give it a bit of addition. Again, moving where required. And put that right over the top of there as well. So at this point, we can turn it around once again and just attach another check rail. Like so. There we go to that. And we can turn this round once again. We can attach the wrong pot. That might bugger out. Well, we would if we'd if we'd managed to turn the soldering iron on. It would take a few seconds to heat up. Does that to that. Same for the other side. There you have working blades. Probably need to clean them up a bit. Pretty much there as a point. Again, taking the gauges all off, you can take one of them across there, and if you can hold that way, move again. So in that short amount of time with this kit, we've built a point. Obviously there is a few more chairs to go on, but it just goes to show you that in a very short time you can build yourself a point. Thank you for watching.